Welcome to another Fireside Chat, Black Blockchain Summit 2022. Today we are discussing Ethereum 2.0 or the merge today. So before we can dive into the topic, rather we start by introducing ourselves. Let everybody know who you are, what you do in the space, and how your journey has been so far before we can start talking about the merge. Thank you so much. It's down up to you now. Yes, I'm handing out to you to take over the discussion or the talk.
Hi, my name is Rick. I'm founder of a project called Laconic. Also founder of a consulting company called Vulcanize. I've worked on a number of things in the Ethereum and Cosmos ecosystems, including the fee market change, EIP 1559 for Ethereum is probably what I'm most well known for. But I also worked with the Ethereum Foundation prior to. You're not going to notice, or any Uniswap version, you're not going to notice any difference in performance. If you use MetaMask, you're not going to notice any difference. But there's been a huge shift under the hood. So, when you make a huge change like that, you don't want to have that change and then have a whole bunch of other stuff happen, right? You want to do that one thing, have everything look like it's normal, and then start to make improvements and changes after.
Definitely. And another thing that's coming from this, so right now Ethereum's pretty slow on the proof of work. It does roughly 20 transactions per second, and it takes roughly 5 minutes for the confirmations to fully go through. That's going to speed up. There's talks that it now can do up to 100,000 transactions per second. It might take a little bit more time than that to get to that amount of transactions per second. But there's two things I want to make sure that's very clear. One, once the merge happens, your money is safe. You're not having to do anything to your money. You're not having to change anything. You're not having to do anything. Everything is going to just keep going without you having to make any adjustments. And then secondly, gas will not necessarily be cheaper. So there's a misconception that people think that, well, now that there's more transactions per second, gas should be becoming cheaper. There's actually an article that came out from the Ethereum Foundation saying that that's not true. Gas fees won't significantly be changed based on that. So the challenge of Ethereum gas will continue to persist in the short run.
So in other words, the issue of high gas fees will remain as it is, because one of the challenges that we normally come across is when you want to, maybe you want to swap another token for another token. There's always this high gas fees that happen in the Ethereum network. So that one will remain as it is.
Yeah, it's not going to impact gas fees. I mean, right now, gas fees are very low. So when I do transactions now, they're very affordable. And I think that we probably won't, the thing that's confusing to people is it's very simple, but it's also like hard to think of, is that the gas is priced based on demand, not on supply. It's how much people want to use the chain that determines how much the chain costs, not how much it costs to make the chain. So the cost of making the chain has gone down significantly, but what people are willing to pay probably will not be impacted by that. In fact, people will probably be more excited to use the chain, so the price will probably go up. And because the miners and the validators are two different groups of people, they're not really like making more money or anything. It's like the fundamental like underlying security has changed, and so now it's in theory a different group of people who are making that revenue than the group before. So it's just somehow for us as end users, the price will effectively stay the same, even though there's been these large changes underneath.
Okay. Yeah, talking about the miners. I know for this merge, I do believe a lot of developers are very excited, maybe. But what about the miners? What do you think is happening right now with the miners, or the ETH miners? What is their future?
There's a couple things with it. So with going from this merger, it's gonna from moving proof of work to proof of stake, it's going to become 99.95% more efficient.
Mhm.
And so for an environment standpoint, that makes a lot of people happy. But for the miners, all these people who've invested in all this hardware, the thing that they're trying to do is make a fork. So basically they're trying to let their miners keep working, be able to still keep mining this money. So the same way that there's been a fork before in Ethereum, that like Ethereum Classic, how Bitcoin
Mhm.
has Bitcoin Cash and BSV, etc. The miners are currently trying to put something in place to have a fork be put in place so that they can keep mining. But for as far as what Ethereum has claimed, that as far as what they're looking for on their blockchain and how they're continuing to looking at it, they're only going to be looking at what's happening post ETH 2.0 merger from the proof of stake model.
Okay, so in other words, we are looking to have a fork, another fork on Ethereum. Is that what you say?
Yeah, it's contentious hard fork, right? So we have had
Mhm.
other hard forks in the past that they happen pretty regularly, but they're not contentious. So now we're witnessing a group of people who probably are doing ASIC mining for Ethereum, who want to continue to do that, and they're welcome to do that. But most of the service providers in the space, you know, your MetaMasks, your Coinbases, your exchanges, whatever they are, they're going to continue on the proof of stake fork. So yeah, I think practically, like I know some, I work with some miners or some mining organizations. Many of them have already also run staking operations, just as a part of their business, proof of stake operations as well. So those businesses, you know, they'll continue to operate those businesses. But if you were like an individual miner and you were mining Ethereum with an ASIC, then you probably will need to use something like the new ETHW or whatever. I can't follow the names, but there's this alternative chain that's happening. You would probably
Yeah.
want to go to that. But if you're like a GPU miner in your home, I haven't followed that in a long time. I used to do that, but I haven't done it in many years. You're just gonna your chain switching algorithm just isn't gonna pick Ethereum anymore. You know, you're not really gonna notice a huge difference if you're a home miner, just GPU mining, for example. You know, you're just gonna GPU mining will become less profitable, but that happens all the time anyway. So
Yeah.
be a big change.
Okay, thank you so much. Now let's go to the issue of like fear. So normally when there's a change that is happening, there's always like questions in people's minds, you know, the fear of maybe what if the system does not work? What if the upgrade does not work? Have you ever thought of the upgrade not working the way we want it to be? And if it is the case, what measures do we have, contingency measures we have in place in case things don't go well?
I believe it's been tested with shadow
Mhm.
forks like
Yeah.
13, 14 times.
Okay.
So it's been thoroughly tested. The testnet transition happened like last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That was smooth. That worked smoothly.
Yeah.
So I think it's one of the it's almost certainly the most tested Ethereum fork ever, like by a significant margin. Like it's
By
way
far.
more tested than
Yeah.
anything else we've ever done. And so I don't think that, and there's not really any reason to suspect from those tests that it
Okay.
would fail. Like sometimes you do tests and you're like, oh, well, there's still some 20% chance or whatever.
Yeah.
But like in this case, it's pretty much like it's just going to work because it's been tested so many times. And if it were to fail, well, we would probably just stop producing blocks. So you would just, the
Okay.
network would effectively stop producing blocks for some period of time. And that can cause problems for various services on top of the chain. But again,
Yeah.
exchanges have to have infrastructure in place for when chains go down. And
Yeah.
as Richard pointed out, your funds are not at risk when that happens. You just can't do certain types of transactions while the chain
Yeah.
is down. But
And
I
just
think, yeah, they would coordinate a fix.
for sure. And just to build on that real quick, Rick, you know, back in August 10th, Ethereum completed the Groly public testnet, and that was when people really started getting excited about, oh, this merger is happening. Like Rick said, this has been back tested so many different times, and this has been in the works for years. So they wanted to make sure it was thoroughly going to happen before they even announced the hard date for this to occur, and to put the confidence that, oh, the ETH 2.0 merger is finally going to happen. Like there have been so many delays. There have been, you know, thousands upon thousands of developers constantly working on to make this a reality. And so there's a lot of confidence that it should go out that without a hitch. But in the event that it doesn't, there are backup plans. I mean, I was even reading about, for example, Coinbase has a plan when it officially happens, they're going to pause all transactions for X amount of time just to ensure everything happens clearly. But again, if in the event that that happens, there are a couple of steps in place that Ethereum can then take to remedy this the problem, or they can continue on with proof of work if they have to. Not that they want to, but they can continue down that path until they come up with another solution.
Okay, thank you so much. Do we foresee something happening again on the Ethereum network again in the future? Some kind of upgrade that people need to know of? Oh, yeah.
No, the only thing you would need to do is upgrade to a modern client. So like a current client, which I believe for Geth is 1.10.23. And that's all you, if you were running a Geth client, if you're running Go Ethereum or whatever, that's all you would need to do. If you're just a normal user using, you know, MetaMask or some other wallet service, they've taken care of all of that for you.
Okay. Yeah, we've got 10 minutes left. There is the idea of staking, and where the stakers have to stake in about 32 ETH or so to activate the validator software. So when you look at that, doesn't it eliminate the small players in the market, or people who are interested in you know, getting to you know, becoming part of the validators or validating people, networkers?
So to become a validator, yes, it does make it pretty hard. You basically need 32 ETH to run a node and then become one of them. However, you're getting access. What is nice about the proof of stake model that we've seen across other ecosystems that are out there is that you don't have to be a validator in order to still earn yield. You know, in your typical you know, bank account, you're making 0.01% on money that's sitting there. But now if you're able to get into stuff for proof of stake, and you're getting anywhere from 3 to 15% by having your money being put to work with a proof of stake validator or whatever the rewards are, it's pretty substantial, especially if you're getting an asset that potentially can appreciate as well. Because, you know, of course, with your hard dollars, it's stable. It should be, you know, a one-to-one value. But when you're getting into something also could appreciate over time as well, you potentially can have your money multiply over time. So I think that it's still providing access. Now, will the amount of money that these people potentially be make significantly less than a true validator? Sure, but they can still get at least a piece of the pie, which I still think is valuable for your everyday consumer trying to get into the space.
All right, thanks so much. If you have anything that you want to add before we close up the discussion, so that maybe we can get the people out there to understand a little bit much more and the detail and the deeper. So what you expect, like just to summarize everything that we've discussed. What should people expect? You know, should they be excited? And if they're excited, why should they be excited? And or not? Just a quick summary of what we've just discussed, you know, in your own words.
Yeah, I mean, I think they should be excited about Ethereum delivering on their promised roadmap. I mean, it's taken 7 years for them to get to this point. So I think to the broader community, it should show a commitment to actually accomplishing these goals and accomplishing these things that were stated. So that's what I'm very excited about. I think it also opens up the door to a lot of new features. It opens up the door to a lot of new functionality that was sort of politically, you know, we had to get this feature done before we could start working on other features, just from a political perspective. So it's very important that we accomplish this and get this done. And then, as Richard pointed out, the staking, you know, I think it is a much more democratic way of accessing yield on the base layer than participating in mining. I mean, there's pros and cons to that, but ultimately, as an end user, it means it's easier for you to get exposure to that yield.
Thank
And
you so much, Rick.
to echo what Rick just said as well, I think it's extremely exciting. I think what's the most exciting about what's happening is just as he pointed out, the commitment to getting this done. A 7-year process, that's a long time to get anything done.
That's
And
a
when
long
you look
time.
at crypto, people, people typically are price speculators. So it's trying to look at, hey, how is money going up, et cetera. But a lot of these projects are blockchain startups. They're not meant to be currency. They're not meant to be something that's just goes nothing but up. They're things that are being built on. Ethereum is an ecosystem, and it's one of the most robust and ecosystems that are out there, where a lot of these other ecosystems are emulating and trying to improve upon. By having this ETH 2.0 merger officially happen, it kind of opens the door for a lot of the disputes and for the arguments for some of the other ecosystems that were built to have as much strength as they do, because now it allows the doors to open for a lot of these new products to start being built, to start adding even more features and functionalities to make Ethereum even stronger as an ecosystem, and to continue to work on some of the challenges like gas and some of these other issues that Ethereum is having. So I think people should be excited. I think people can continue to see some amazing things happen from the Ethereum ecosystem. And I mean, there's several parties in local cities around the nation that are actually having ETH 2.0 parties to celebrate the moment.
Okay, thank you so much, Richard, and thank you so much, Rick. And we're looking forward to the match. I think it's coming up September 15th, right? And yes, we are excited. We're excited also because, now we are no longer so much concerned about the environment because of proof of work. And we're also excited to see what kind of developments will come after the merge. We're looking forward to see, how Ethereum will grow from where it is to, after this merge. So I do believe definitely there will be a lot of good things that will be coming up. And like some people say, with the coming of this merge, there is a possibility that we'll see Ethereum surpassing Bitcoin. So definitely we're looking forward to that. And thank you so much for honoring the invitation and becoming part of our guest. Thank you so much, and we look forward to having more discussion in the future.